Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video on this channel. I am the Coco Nomad, and on this channel I talk about location and financial independence. And in this particular video, we will be revisiting my monthly reports, and this one is the monthly investment report, where I share how things are working so far with some of the things I'm trying to do investment-wise. It's a newer of the series of videos I've been doing, but I wanted to be a transparent person and sort of just share the journey. You know, I'm learning a lot about investing in a way that I just had never done before. And, you know, I wanted to make sure I just capture all the ups and downs, things that are good, things that are bad, and all of the things that I've learned. So let's get started. So just kind of review, this is my second full month of active investing. And my goals, of course, I'm not doing this just for no reason, is to reach my Coast Fire number in 3 years. And I've done some videos that I'll link below about fire and Coast Fire, things like that. And then to reach full financial independence in 10 years. So that's a bit of early retirement, even though retiring early is not exactly what I'm trying to do as part of the fire movement. It's more the financial independence. And the strategy that I'm using is a bit different. And it's actually changed when I started making these videos. When I first started, I was really focused on just what I knew about investing, which is basically buying stocks that would appreciate over time, you know, holding them long term, maybe getting some dividends. And that was sort of my focus, dividend investing, and sort of just general appreciation and value of the stocks that I was investing in. And then I discovered options trading. And that happened probably about a month into me thinking about doing these types of things. And I think I was doing it income stream reports. And that's when I discovered options trading. I talked to a few friends that were doing options as well. They were doing some different things though. So I landed on this strategy. So I modified my strategy to include options trading using specifically a strategy called the wheel, which is selling covered calls and then selling cash secured puts. So mitigating my risk in some ways, not in every way. And then not really having to sort of watch the clock or watch the stock market on a day-to-day basis, because I have other projects and I just don't have time to do that. So it's just wanted to have some ground level of what I'm trying to accomplish if you're new here, and just sort of continuing on in the path and how this is going. So again, this is the second full month. I started in late September. I think I made my first trade on the 20th or 23rd of September. And here we are in December. So I had a full month of October, full month of November, and I wanted to have goals set. So I created some targets, some income targets, and I talk about these targets as part of my progress. It's not the only metric that I use, but it's sort of like the big one in terms of this style and my approach within this style of investing. And that's just, I'm really focused on monthly income. Again, the goal is financial independence. This particular type of investing for me is for monthly income. So can I generate steady income from this activity? So this is the chart where I keep track of my goals. I created like 12 levels that go all the way up to $10,000 a month. And of course, I want to do this over time, because of course it can't just be having one good month and then the next month something happens. So it's not like I'm looking to retire or just shift to doing this full time anytime soon. Probably just taking the first year just to learn how this works and how well it's going, and just learning if I need to change strategies again, you know, anything like that. But so you can see these different levels. They're not evenly spaced out. I just picked some numbers that were significant to me and represented some things that I could do, or represented some things in reference to either costs that I may have or how much money I spend or things like that. So these targets are just a guideline, not a means to an end. This month, I experienced a super whirlwind of pricing drops for a couple of the underlying stocks that I had contracts on. And that really threw me for a loop, because I'd experienced that in October, and I do these on volatile stocks. And that's because the premiums are higher. That may be a strategy that I don't use anymore. They also happen to be in pharma, and that's the other piece of that. So maybe I don't do that, but that's one of the areas where they're pretty volatile. And I was using it to my advantage. I'm not so sure how advantageous that is. In some ways, it is still advantageous in another way, but it just requires some patience. And I'll make a video and talk about, maybe go into more detail about what happened. But essentially, again, like what happened in October, one of the companies, their price dropped. But this time it wasn't even based on like some news that was expected to come out. So this is kind of like unexpected news. And I guess it happens. I mean, it happens. I'd looked at the charts over history and I just didn't think, like, how many times could this happen to me for like just getting started? And it's already happened 3 times. And part of it, of course, is related directly to the general market downturn that has happened since November. We had like a couple of bad days right after Thanksgiving. And then this past week, another big major turn. So some of this just requiring patience. So let's just get into this particular month and see how I did. Now, remember, I am focused on dividends and selling these options, the options trading side. So what happened here in this past month, I did collect dividends in the amount of $12.22, which is down from the previous month. But part of that is because some of the holdings, they only pay dividends once every quarter. So I had a lot of them that were paying, and some significant ones in the last month paying for that quarter. So caused those dividends to be a bit higher this past month, and now it's just the monthlies. So just the monthlies are paying. So that's about $12, not about, it's $12.22. But the premium that I was able to make from selling options contracts was a lot larger than I expected. Partially because, again, I took on a lot of risk with some options trades that had some contracts that really provided a lot of premium. And I closed a lot of contracts and reopened some contracts. And I wanted to start experimenting with doing weeklies to see how this would perform. And I've done quite a few of those where instead of waiting an entire month, the contract expires. These contracts expire on a weekly basis. So I'm able to close and then use that same collateral to open another contract and repeat. So this month, that meant that the premium total received was $3,471, which blew my expectations out of the water. Actually, I didn't think that would happen. I understand now that all that glitters isn't gold, and there's a flip side to that because the stocks are volatile, so the underlying price can move up and down. But I did achieve my goal. I set the goal for level 6. And level 6, the amount was $1,500. And then I was able to go all the way up to level 8. So level 8 is $3,000, and I went past $3,000. Not high enough to reach the next level, but it's pretty high. So I sort of believe that this is an outlier. I don't expect December to be this high. I think it's going to go back down, maybe back down to level 6 probably, just because of the nature of this time of year, the number of contracts that I'm seeing open and what I have currently open for that expire this week. So unless something miraculous happens or I find some other opportunities, I doubt very seriously that this is probably going to be a peak number. And we'll just say, well, this is really high. But I just wanted to talk again about the underlyings. Because they're volatile, the prices swing a lot up and down, and that's what happened. For some of the underlyings, the underlying stock, the prices dropped significantly. So while this number looks great, my overall portfolio doesn't, because the value of the stocks that I sold the contracts on are very, very low. I do have added the section, though, what I said I would do. What does it pay for? So because I hit this goal, $1,500 is one of those milestones. I said, well, I would make some charitable contributions this month because there are a few charities that I actually do a monthly automatic donation to. And we're getting close to the holidays as well, or we're in the holidays now, so we've already started. And so I wanted to start just distributing some of that to these groups. And so that's what I'll be doing. A couple of the charities that I will be donating to, and I'll link below. One is Courageous Kitchen. And Courageous Kitchen is run by a young man I met in Thailand back in 2017. And he's actually from Atlanta, but his wife is Thai. And they started a charity where they're really working to sort of address poverty and skills in a certain way for poor children in Thailand. And so he offers cooking classes. They teach the kids how to cook. And I just think he's done a fabulous job. So it's one of those things that I continually support. And then the second one is the Detroit Water Project, or the Human Utility. And that is just paying for water bills for people in a couple of areas in the U.S., mainly Detroit. And again, I believe that, water should be available to everybody. And you've probably heard stories about water in Detroit and issues that people have had there. So I wanted to be someone who could, lend a hand in some way that I could. And one way is that I could donate to pay bills, to help offset the costs for people who are at risk, uh, even with the quality issues that they may have had in the past. But being able to just have water and pay for their bills and pay the water bill. So we're not at a point yet where we just make that available free to every human being, but maybe one day we'll get there. And then finally, there's another one. There's a charity called Afro Unidos in Colombia, helping some communities, some of the poor communities in Colombia, the different regions and cities there. And I have some friends that run that, and I'll be donating directly to them as well for the holidays. They usually run an annual campaign for the children. There's food drives throughout the year typically, but holidays they go out and buy toys and gifts for kids. And so I think, I'm not a big Christmas guy, but I'm not a Grinch. So I also will be contributing. So I'll be just splitting that evenly amongst the 3 charities and donating to each of those. And then next month there will be another one for another charity that's close to my heart, but that will probably be pretty sizable. And I'm also a sponsor for them, and that is Steve Asher's Boxing Gym in Goldsboro, North Carolina. It's my parents' hometown. I've lived there for a number of years. I used to spend my summers there. I'm really big on boxing, big fan. I think the sport is really good for helping anybody with their health and just kind of like facing life. I mean, yes, there's punching, but life sometimes punches you too. You just learn how to, as I tell a friend, to roll with the punches and punch back and just keep moving forward. So I will be making another donation, probably about a similar size, to them in December. But this $1,500 is the amount that I'll be distributing for the groups that I mentioned. So what does that mean for what's next for me? One is definitely improving the options trading strategy and trying to understand, like, can I be more efficient? Can I find the right balance between the volatility of the underlyings that do have great premiums and can provide a nice income, but can maintain that price? And that may not be a problem because, again, I am very, very income focused, and the underlying price isn't as big a deal to me. But when you look at the chart and you see through this, it still does something to you psychologically. And so I will be working on that and improving that. And one of the ways that I will be improving that is I'm actually building my own options trading tracking app. There are lots of spreadsheets out there. They're really good. And I've used quite a few of them, trying them out. But what I find is they don't tell the whole story. And neither does my trading platform, which I currently use Robinhood because it's easy for trading. And it just doesn't get the job done for me in terms of helping me make some of these decisions. And there's some numbers I really like to know right off the bat. Like, I want to know, with the premiums, like, what is my cost basis? Where's the best place for me to be putting my funds, using the resources at the time, what's available, how the current trades been performing, how the current stocks that I've had done trades on performing. And a lot of that data analysis and reporting is just not there. So I just decided, as a software dev, I would just build it myself. So I've been working on that. I'm expecting an MVP, an early version, to be available sometime in January. And then I'll be looking for some beta testers to get on board and sort of help me test it. Now, this will be running on the iOS, on your mobile, your Mac, and the watch. Of course, also the iPad. It'll take a bit longer for me to port it over to run on Android. I'm sorry, Android users, I'm not against you. It's just, it was easier to hit most of these devices with the current way that I'm building it. So, and then finally, just maintaining this level. I'm saying I'm maintaining the level 8. I think I can still hit level 8 and maintain for the next month. It's going to be hard. Definitely have to look at some deals that are available at the end of the year. See what the options contracts, the options change are looking like in the next couple of weeks. It'll probably be focused mainly on weeklies at this point. There might be some monthly contracts that close out and expire in January I can look at, but because I don't count that revenue until the contract's closed, that would be January revenue. So it may be difficult for me to maintain level 8. Again, I might be late level 6 or 7, but I'm still going to keep that goal there. Just like, see if we can maintain this level and move forward. So that's it for this month's investment report. If you have any questions, please drop them below. As always, thanks for the support. And if you can click like and subscribe and the notification bell if you want to follow along, I'll do more of these, just sharing how this trading is going. And I'm by no means trying to give anybody financial advice. I just want to share the journey, just share how it's working, ups, downs, good, bad, whatever. So as always, thanks for the support. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you next time. Have an amazing, amazing week. Cheers.